The quest for good offline games is a treacherous yet necessary one, and I braved it to bring another top-tier list of 10 amazing offline games for Android and iOS. Let's get on with the video, shall we? Okay, starting swiftly with a dungeon crawler platformer roguelike known as Dungreed. A cute little yet interesting pixel graphics hack-and-slash platformer. The premise follows a young adventurer who dives into a mysterious dungeon that destroyed his hometown. Exploring the procedurally generated labyrinths, you will fight all types of mobs, defeating them to get loot, weapons, and gain experience. All of this is to rebuild your town. Such a good guy. In short, you dive, spelunk, die, repeat. You lose your loot upon death, but you can upgrade your perks to make yourself stronger. The combat is pretty simplistic, one you can get into very easily, but the interesting factor is the long list of weapons, and I mean a long list, from lightsabers to katana, to energy blasters. To be honest, my first impression of the game is that it reminded me of Neon Abyss and Terraria. The game looks promising, it's paid and also small. Skul the Hero Slayer is next. An action platformer hack-and-slash RPG that adds a twist on the usual setting, where you take on the role of Skul, a lone skeleton warrior that survived the onslaught of the demon race. His job, fight to slay the heroes that aided this genocide. The game is nice and all, with beautiful 2D graphics, flashy combat, interesting enemies, and cool bosses. But the mechanics that caught my interest was the ability to exchange heads or skulls, borrowing the abilities of the previous owner. This gives you an array of abilities or builds to choose from magic-based sorcerers to dual heavy sword-wielding death knights. It is also a roguelike and has all the mechanics that follow the genre. The game is still not yet technically released, but it's on its way sometime very soon. Okay, we are in for a treat with the next game on our list. Brok the Investigator, an action-adventure point-and-click style detective game that also mixes beat-em-up and puzzle mechanics intertwined in a very compelling story. The game is set in a futuristic light cyberpunk world where animals have replaced humans. There is still a class divide, as privileged citizens live under a protective dome from ambient air pollution while others struggle to make a living outside. You play as Brok, a private detective, a former boxer, and a father to a son of his deceased wife. Although he could never elucidate her absence, recent events may shed light on an even more tragic outcome, one that may be linked to their own existence. The trailer had a way of resonating with me, I won't lie, but the game seems to try a lot of different things that may not turn out well, but if it is promised, it's going to be one to check out. The story dives into a mystery I think that seems quite appealing and interesting. It's been a while since I've seen a good fighting game, and that leads us to the arcade boxing game, Thunder Ray by Crunchyroll. These guys have been rolling out some good games lately. On first observation, who will notice an avid, colorful retro art style that pulsating, delightful, colorful, and stimulating to watch. Followed by spectacular fighting action, and distinct challengers. The controls seem easy enough to learn, yet challenging to really master. To rise to the top of a futuristic World Boxing Championship, you will have to battle a rooster of various types of challenges, from drug-powdered banes to literal shadowy monsters. It looks fun, challenging, and above all beautiful, a tribute to the arcade genre, and one fighting fans have to try out. Be careful though, you would need a premium cruchyroll account to play this. Okay, next up is kind of a sequel to Brotado. The name is Lost Potato. It is a minimalistic roguelike, in the sense that your job is to use the environment to defeat your opponents. You cannot actually hurt the mobs around you via physical contact. Your job is to use the carefully placed hazards like spikes, bombs, acid baths, etc., to guide the mobs to their destruction. The premise takes a little bit of a different route from what most roguelikes are. It's a fun little game that doesn't really go bonkers. Your job in this one is just simply to help this little potato escape the forest. But I doubt you'll be able to see the end since it's a roguelike. It's good looking at least. Fun, simple, and just something to try out when you just want to dive right into a game. I'm actually very in love with the next game on the list, Wytchwood, a game that lets you play or live out the life of a witch in a crafting adventure-style game set in a land of gothic fables. You play as a mysterious old witch of the woods. You explore the strange countryside, collect magical ingredients, brew sorcerous enchantments, and pass twisted judgments upon a capricious cast of creatures and characters. After all, how would they learn if they don't know the moral of the story? As I said, you can cast a hex, cast goodwill, and do everything that entails being a master of the witchcraft arts. The paper-style graphics look amazing, reminding me of Don't Starve, with a more ambient vibe to it. Okay. Okay, next up is an exciting kingdom-building / tower defense game by the name of Cask. As the name suggests, your job is to create a soaring empire, upgrading it during the day by adding necessities such as food, building structures, and so on. At night time you defend against invading enemies looking to destroy your empire. You can also expand your growing kingdom by invading other neighboring factions. I cannot emphasize enough how much of a sucker I am for these types of games. I've played dozens of games like this and I have enjoyed every single one of them. The game framing seems captivating with a bit of dark lore in it, and I think I'm going to try this one especially, and probably give a review on it. It looks great, I will not lie. I'm going to check it out. It's free also, which is a great addition. Next up is Paper Trail, a premium-looking narrative puzzle adventure that has a distinct mechanic that makes it quite different, if you can literally fold the space-time continuum to solve really interesting puzzles while uncovering a very radiant plot about leaving home and finding oneself. I find the entire game to be premium in a sense, having masterful well-thought-out puzzles with a cool story that's deep. It also has cool, beautiful graphics, and amazing music, and everything about it just feels handcrafted and intricate. Paper Trail feels like a very good game that persuades you to try it out, especially if you're a puzzle fan. Next up is a title I didn't think I would see on mobile, at least for a long time. A game that I played on my laptop and absolutely enjoyed it. In fact, I'm still going to go back to finish the game when my system gets repaired. And the name is CrossCODE. And yes, you've heard me right, CrossCODE is available for Android. It may be an unofficial port but it's still very much playable. I've downloaded the game and tested it out myself and it runs amicably. The game follows the story of a character who has lost her memory in an MMORPG game and is trying to recover it. But the added twist is that this MMORPG world is in fact not virtual but real. Players dive in by syncing their conscience with avatars to complete quests while discovering the entire world. It's kind of hard to explain, you just have to play the game. It has wonderful combat, an amazing boss battle, an interesting story, colorful pixel graphics, a huge open world to explore filled with diverse biomes, and the rest. CrossCODE is an amazing indie title and I'm just delighted that it was crossed over to mobile, even though it may be on an illegal or not so. Next up is an amazing title that I just find gorgeous. A game that is possibly the very best game released in 2024, an offline masterpiece that I still cannot find the reason as to why it is even made available for mobile, the name being Astris. A beautiful game that follows the journey of an investigator as he or she dives into the mysterious world of Alindo, where you embark on different adventures to different biomes, discovering diverse culture, story, lore, and all the other stuff. The graphics in the game are breathtaking, beautiful, and just console-worthy. The combat is a semi-real-time turn-based strategy that I find quite absorbing, kind of like the Final Fantasy series. The game looks well made, absolutely premium, and is worth every penny that it is on the Play Store, and believe me, it is quite a pretty penny. The game also requires a kind of study device to run it because it is considerably demanding on the graphical aspects. Astris is paid, and available on all mobile platforms. And with that, we are done with today's video. Which offline game are you definitely going to try out? Let me know in the comments section. Hit that like button, subscribe, comment down your thoughts, and do anything you can to make the channel more known. This is your host, P-Doc. Thanks for watching. We are about to hit 500 subscribers and I couldn't be more proud. I will see you in the next video. I'm out.